This is your 20-minute news segment, coming at you each and every month with the most important, most interesting, most obscure news. And here we are for the month of May 2025. Welcome. My name's Justin.
My name's Emily.
Great to have you on board. Thank you for joining us, guys. How are you?
What an opener. What? Like, I just... Oh, no.
Sorry,
You're dying.
I'm all good. Oh, sorry, forgive me. I'm all good.
Yeah, you good?
I'm all good.
Wow, what?
How are you? It's quite hostile, that one, and quite aggressive.
It was.
A little bit more aggressive.
It sort of like felt you were internally hyping yourself up, you know, like, I am okay. This is going to be great.
I will have some chalk one month and just get the chalk going.
Saw you actually doing some. What were you doing over the weekend? The
weekend we had an event. Yeah. I'm reticent to share too much more about life beyond watches, but every so often it's quite nice just to make a little comment there about the fact that I have other interests, and one of them is exercise. 50 kg sandbag. Yeah. 50 kg handbag.
Was there one bigger?
It was the biggest on the day.
Okay.
But there are bigger out there.
It's always bigger. Okay.
And before we get into the news segment for May 2025, what have you got on the wrist there, my dear?
It's come out. It's coming back.
It's coming back.
It's been away for a while. I've had a break just to see if I'd miss it, and I did. It is the Mojave, the 41. Had this for a while. I think probably slightly just before we met.
Yeah.
IWC for me. I've got a long love affair with the brand. A long love affair. I think I went very hard.
Was it your first love?
Was it my first? No, I think the Reverso was the first watch that really opened my eyes, and then it was the 5002, the big Fido. So not long after. But anyway, it's back. I'm enjoying it. Summer watch, versatile. It's ironically the watch I feel is most understated, but actually turns out the watch I get the most questions about. Most people ask me. What about you, sir?
I find that really interesting because I love the idea of the joy that a watch can bring after it's been in the watch box for a while and you're surprised and delighted by it in new ways. I'm wearing a watch that's bringing me a lot of joy right now. This is the Bulgari Aluminium Bulgari Fender edition, and it is just spectacular. I haven't taken this thing off for days. And I mean, I've been in the shower with it, and I've slept with it, and I've trained with it, and I've done everything with it. Honestly, it's just blown me away. Super, super light, aluminium, bit of titanium in there, rubber, and the visuals, like this gradient sort of, this like rich sort of chocolate brown dial, and then this sort of cappuccino style GMT, this is a GMT as well. Yeah. Very thin ETA caliber, 40 mil, and a distinctive look. I mean, I should also say, bloody hell, I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that it's Velcro.
That's cool,
it is Velcro,
actually.
Which I love, but a supple. I've not been paid a sausage to say this, but it's also very approachable price point wise. So the articulation is just sort of bonkers and like nothing else I've ever seen. And it's got this jet set vibe. So the history of the model is they even put it on the front of a plane, an Alitalia jet. They put the watch head, painted it on the front of this thing, and it's got that sort of jet set era elegance to it. Apparently it was a big thing in Italy for people to wear them on the Riviera, the Italian Riviera, for a period of time, and it's got a really interesting story history of the Bulgari. I just
the
really Fender edition. I'm not sure. I think it's like 1,200 online only.
Okay.
It was a visceral response when I first saw it go up. I thought, God, that's amazing, and I was like, I need that. You know, and these days you don't get that feeling often, but you've got to recognise when you do. And so for me, that was what this was. And for a summer watch, I really think it's super cool.
The sunburst dial, same as the guitar finishing? Yeah,
and then the box itself's like a miniature box, little Fender. Cool. So the interior's got like a velvet to a sort of
very cool
purplish velvet. They've done some amazing additions, and I'm looking at one that's sold out now from last year, which is a blue gradient dial, really punchy blue, like Azzurri water blue. And anyway, I've kind of got another rubber of aluminiums now, and it's just, honest to God, you feel like, because it's got this rubber insert which does have Bulgari, it's super wearable because you can really duff it up, and it never gets duffed up. Anyway, so there we are. That's what I'm wearing now.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm really enjoying it.
I'm going to be
more to come on that. Yeah, you can get them at sort of $2-3 grand. Secondary retail now is about $4, so they've crept up over the years, but they used to be at like $3. So I still, for an ETA caliber, if you're on Bond Street, stop at Bulgari and have a look, because I genuinely think it's. And I've owned a lot of watches that I thought were great, but this wears really, really well as a summer watch.
Cool.
So there we go. First bit of news, what are you bringing to us this month?
What am I bringing? Well, I thought long and hard about this, and the only thing that felt right for the month of May to talk about from me, and if I was being as honest and genuine as I can, is the auction results. I make no secret, a bigger fan of the independent world. I also think it's actually very exciting. We all know, we don't have to rehash, the market's changing. It's changed almost. We've gone from crazy highs to quite lows, but the independent world is slightly different. I think there are still the darlings of the independent world, largely a supply-demand thing. But the one that I was really excited for was Mr. Simon Brette himself. He had a watch go up for auction, the first actually ever to go to public auction. One was sold privately, the titanium edition, which is the second version of the watch. Went for auction. I'd be guessing, but I think retail was somewhere around 60 to 70 Swiss franc. I know it's in that range. I can't tell exactly where. Auction result was expecting around 100. It actually went for just over 200. So, by the time we've added taxes and so, you're at 250,000 Swiss franc for a 70-ish K watch, which is a big result for the buyer. Fair enough. Whether you could or should flip is one thing, but also I think a great result for Simon is it's not outrageous. It's not a price that you're only going to go down, but it's also a great response from the market, which says the market does desire the watch, the market does see value in the watch. Now, if you don't know what Simon Brette is, he is a wonderful, watch designer. Out in Switzerland, and he started his first watch, the chronometer artisan, in 2022, 2023, and since then made 12 editions of the subscription, and I think there are around 60 possibly in the world now. He is going from strength to strength, but it really was
mainly case material differences, right?
Yeah.
Series.
Okay, so the first series, was the subscription. Then we go into titanium. Then it went into the rose gold, the rose gold and black. Famously worn by Ben Clymer. Then it was going into steel, and it will end, I believe, in platinum. And then that watch is done.
Okay.
They make 12 per year per material.
And the thing about him is that he isn't the watchmaker in the sense that he is not finishing and designing the entire thing himself. He's got partners, he's got artisans that he leans on, that he's very open about, that he works with, which is interesting. And I wonder in some ways whether if it were him, like Rexep, where your name's on the dial and you're the maker, and you've got a level of expertise in finishing or whatever it is, I wonder if that is where the money's at, because Rexep's number was sort of nearer 1 million. We're talking crazy numbers, and very, very, very few will ever be in those echelons. But that's the only thing I can see that may have sort of and the timing, of course, because as you say, the market itself has shifted.
For sure. And the dollar's tanked.
Yes.
It doesn't help anyone.
And the Chinese, the market's
it's horrific.
Horrific with the primal, not primal.
But I think it's probably worth clarifying a point there. I think in the watch world, we consider if one person designs and makes the watch, then that is the epitome. I think there are different sort of forms of epitomes. Even if you go back to Breguet, going out and using different artisans that do different things, that's the standard way of making watches. It's only people like George Daniels or Rexep himself, or that really Epigeon is not making his watches through and through, but they still command crazy premiums. So what I think is cool about Simon Brette and why I single him out is that his model is go to his website and it's about the 12 artisans and about finding these people in Switzerland whose trade was decimated, over the years, and using their skills, celebrating their skills, and putting them to market. So it's not just about the auction result, but I think it is about maybe a slight movement away or some sort of segmentation into different fields of watchmaking. Because what's a watchmaker? What's a watch designer? What's a watch brand? It's sort of like a hand-finished, hand-polished.
It's a bit like, messy. Do you remember like the mid-2000s, everyone was obsessed with in-house calibers, and you saw IWC and Panerai and others all just clambering to make in-house calibers.
Exactly.
To sort of flex that.
Yep.
But ultimately, we found that, for that period of time, people might have cared about it, but now people don't really ask, is it in-house or not? It's much more, I think we're living through a period now of finishing being a big focus. And I did hear a CEO recently I spoke to, who's a CEO of a high-end brand, say something, he wasn't totally bitter, but he was just saying there's a lot of really high-end time only independent finished watches right now in the market. There isn't a great deal of high complication that's novel, and that was interesting. So we're trading on high finishing right now.
Finishing's huge.
That's where we are. And I would say you and we like watches, and we're drawn to watches with finishing being a primary focus of that. So super interesting. Generally speaking, though, auctions a little bit soft results wise. Patek and Jean still leading the way generally.
Absolutely.
Rolex, like vintage Rolex, sort of soft. Interesting.
I also think that the finishing point leads to the sort of culmination of certainly my interest at the moment, and I think a lot of people's is the concept of art. Is you can have a watch that is, you know, functional and like it's the classic wear a quartz, you know, if you're looking for something that's highly practical. But I do think this is people's passions. Their whole world is about, you know, the obsession around the art, and that is where it's really exciting. You look at the dial of a Brette, and it just punches you in the face with, I've not seen anything like that before. Who are these people behind it?
You were actually at the auctions. You went out to Geneva to the auctions.
Yeah.
And you've handled a few Simon Brettes as well.
I
You
have.
visited him.
I've had the absolute pleasure.
So I've not seen one in the metal. So in the metal, you sort of did fall for it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've
It hit you in a new way.
Totally new. I've done rose gold. It was actually Mr. Climbers himself when I went to see it. It turned out.
Was he there?
He wasn't.
In
He wasn't.
attendance?
His
No.
watch was there. And the titanium.
Okay.
And I've seen a subscription as well, actually. Including the full gem set. Beautiful, beautiful.
Is it a little bit ornate for... You're maybe not buying one because it's your everyday.
Right.
You're keeping it maybe for the occasion that feels right. Maybe the weekend, the long weekend, you're whipping it out the safe and you're enjoying.
Weekend, going to the Hamptons.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's got a bit of sparkle to it, right? I mean, that dial finishing
for
itself
sure.
has got a bit of... Whoosh.
With Tiger Law. So I've actually been thinking about this a lot. I don't have 70 grand lying around to go buy a Simon Brette, even if I could get one.
If he gave you the call for the platinum run at the end.
I'd probably sell my nan, you know, like, come on, Nan, I need this watch. And
Who's that
maybe
good?
not, I love you, Nan, not really, but I would, if I could theoretically liquidate everything I have and have one, or somebody said to me, money's not the point, you get one watch. The phase of life I'm in, I probably would still wear that thing every day because there is just something about the magic. It's sort of like the 3755. I love going and wearing that watch, and people ask me about it, and I can talk on and wax lyrical for an hour. And I can about that watch as well. And there are very few watches, and having been blessed and lucky to be in the privileged position to see so many, very few watches capture my imagination like that.
Yeah.
Because it's the finishing, it's the design, it's the people, it's even the subscription members. They're all amazing people. It's the community around the watch and Simon himself. So I'm really captivated by it. And I think if we take money away, because obviously, you know, accessibility is a real thing, but if we just objectively look at it, it's a wonderful watch and it represents something I think is really special about watchmaking.
Brilliant. On
And
that
you?
note, thanks, Em. I've been a bit cheeky this month because it's not necessarily something that popped up in the month, but it's something that I've been completely absorbed in during the month and are hoping to deliver on this month in June.
Okay.
And it's an audacious project, the most audacious I've ever been involved in. And it brings a smile to my face and to those who know me because it's so audacious. There was very little planning in place. There was very little rational expectation for how to deliver it. But I was approached by Lucy... She's right, and she is a dear friend. She used to run Sell on QP.
Yeah.
So years and years ago when Sell on QP was big in the UK, it was disruptive and it was brilliant. And she approached me and said, look, I think we should do something in London. This was last year, I think. Maybe the start of this year. I actually think it was the start of this year. I think it was the start of this year. And she I should say she's become a dear friend. But when she called me, we didn't know each other that well. She just said, I'd like to think about an event. Would you be open to it? Tom Exton, a friend of ours who's a collector, he will be involved as well. Could we do something? And immediately my sense was, well, yes, I'd love to do an event. Number two, I felt that I could see how events were shifting. Brands are more reluctant to leave their own premises these days than they were QP days, which was about 10 years ago now. Yeah. They would all come out for that. Now they're very much fixed. We don't celebrate dealers out there as much as we should. And also this idea of watch weeks, city watch weeks, I could see and have seen Dubai Watch Week going from strength to strength. It is going to be a banger this year. It's going to be twice as big as it's ever been before, and it's going to be insane this year at Dubai Watch Week. And I can see Milano Watch Week doing amazing work as well. So why did we not have a London Watch Week? And I just said, Luce, could we do this? She was like, okay, so it's now not just one day, it's going to be like 3, 4, 5 days. Okay, well, we need some brands. Like, who's going to do it? And I'm proud, honestly proud and pleased to say and grateful to say thank you to the brands that have entrusted us for this year, because we are still sort of licking and putting our hand in the air. We've got an amazing lineup from the 16th of June this month. You can go onto the website now, by the way. Tickets are free. there was talk about how we would monetize this, and truth be told, it's not being monetized in a way that is. There's no money being taken at this time. We are trying to launch it and have a great first year for clients and collectors coming, and for brands who are participating. That's it. But from the 16th for that whole week, we've got the Tuesday actually, so the 17th, we've got an opening night with Bonhams in partnership with the Rake magazine, and we're going to have 150, 200 people there for 2 sessions to see the auction lots at Bonhams, where there's some bonkers stuff coming up for sale, plus an event gala to mark an anniversary for the Rake magazine and their partners. So it's going to be a big celebration. Wednesday is off. Thursday we're at Curzon Street, where we've got some independents coming to town. Among them, restaurants, Laurent Ferrier, Famel Hut, Chapek. So we've had some amazing support from some amazing brands that don't have, not all of them, but some of them don't have representation in the UK, so no bricks and mortar. So a real opportunity to meet them, get hands-on with them. Thursday night, we've also got a party at Minotti, which is a hugely impressive Italian furniture business. Oh, wow. And Zenith are sponsoring that evening, partnering with us to do that evening. So they're bringing a lot of their novelties and some of their team, and we're going to have an event of 150, 200 people there that night. Then we move into Friday, where the independents are back at Curzon Street for the whole day, and you can come, just sign up to the website. You can pop in whenever you like for that. There's going to be panel conversations. We then move to Savile Row, to Drake's on Savile Row in the evening, where we've got 4 wonderful dealers coming in from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. The likes of Subdial, Maunder, Somlo, and Watch Brothers London, Ben from Watch Brothers. So we've just got an amazing lineup. And then they are moving to Curzon Street for Saturday, where we're going to have the whole day of vintage vibes there, with some additions like watch collecting and Watches of Knightsbridge. Nice. So it's just it's something we wanted to go to ourselves. That was the remit to Tom and I specifically, was what would get you out to go and do something.
That's a good question.
That was the question. And what would get us, and these independents and these dealers for year one could not ask for more. So we really hope we can deliver. There's going to be catering, there's going to be food, there's going to be drinks, there's going to be lots of filming. So if you come along, there'll be Polaroids going on, there'll be watches, there'll be buying and selling going on. We'll see.
So you basically built your own Disneyland,
kind
for
of.
a week. Just what would Disneyland look? I have a question actually. Well, not a question, more of an observation. To 2 things. One, we'll come back to the independent thing in a minute, because I think that's amazing. But 2 is actually the dealer side of things. I'm super careful when it comes to buying from dealers, but interestingly, the people you just mentioned there are the people I hear nothing but good things about. Is that an attempt to sort of rebuild the reputation or maybe, I guess what you're actually doing is putting your sort of seal of approval and saying, hey, I trust these people. And that's huge. Is that what are you trying to achieve?
I really
there?
think in the last few years, the trust has been building. The momentum and trust has been building in the secondary. And as we know, prices have just become more and more appealing in the secondary. And so it's just a great time to be a buyer. I've bought from all of them. You've bought from all of them. I think meeting them, getting an opportunity, because if you take Ben from Watch Brothers, he's very digital first. He doesn't have a bricks and mortar location. So the chances are you likely have not met him. You've definitely seen his photos and you've seen his watches. He's very specific, and we wanted dealers who filled specific aspects of the industry.
Fine.
Had particular niche interests. And Ben is a good example of that neo-vintage sort of Breguet and Blancpain specialist. And meeting him, I think you'll then gather just that trust that you may or may not need to know this guy's an expert, trustworthy and brilliant. And I think that's it. Getting them all together, they were all very, very open to being next to one another and supporting each other. They all do business amongst each other as well.
Okay.
And so truthfully, we said, if you're prepared to come on board, would you be prepared to be alongside X, Y, and Z? And they were all very happy to do that. So
awesome.
It's that group that they trust one another, we trust them, and we hope people who come along will get that feeling as well. But let's see.
That's really cool. And then the independents, I think you've got Ludovic Balois coming.
We've got Ludovic Balois as well, yeah.
I think, to me, what's exciting there is it's so niche, and it's fine that it's niche, but getting that level of watchmaking and the other brands, Laurent Ferrier, that you've mentioned, in front of more people is just only a good thing. And it's not about buying, it's not about leads, it's just about awareness.
I should say that I've given you the list of the plan for what's already been pushed to the media this week, the Watch Media, my colleagues, but there are additions to that. We've also got an event at Oris going on. on the Friday night. We've got an event at Oris going on where Chris Hall, colleague of mine, is hosting a conversation. The CEO is going to be in town. There might well also be a limited edition something for the event going on there, which will be cool just for that night only.
Oh, wow.
And then we also got Pragnell involved. So the retailer Pragnell who carry Laurent Ferrier and Grubel Forsey.
Yep.
And Ferdinand Berthoud.
Okay.
So there is something going on there as well, but just a little teaser for now. But this will come out before. This will, we're in the first week of the month now, June.
Yep.
So it's going to come out probably at the end of the first week, early second week. So that hopefully it'll give you enough time to get your head around what's going on.
That's a lot. I'm excited for you. I can't believe you started at the start of the year, though.
It is literally the start of the year.
That gives me palpitations.
And I've got to say, Lucy, all credit to Lucy. The woman is a pro, and it's wonderful to work with people who are so damn good at what they do. Yeah. She's a pro, and she has just done an incredible job.
Amazing.
So please, guys, come along. I'd love to see you there.
Can't wait.
The only event you can't come to, unfortunately, is the one that we've got a capacity issue at Drake's on the Friday night.
Okay.
We have unfortunately already sold out of purely because of the numbers involved. We just couldn't muster any more space there. So we're at capacity on the Friday night, but everything else is up for grabs.
It's going to be fun.
So, yeah.
Exhausting, but fun.
Brilliant. Thanks for indulging me. Final point is our twist, our kicker for every conversation we have is the final bit of news. And it's not news necessarily, it's more of a debate, but it can be a quick one.
God, where is it
F1,
going?
we've just had Monaco Grand Prix. We've just had the Monaco Grand Prix. One of the highlights, the jewel in the crown, if you would, for Formula One. And Formula One's been the beneficiary of so much wonderful momentum with the Drive to Survive series and people getting into it. And watchers love Formula One. Watch brands love Formula One. Watch viewers, Formula One lovers, attendees, love watchers. There's going to be watchers wherever you go. But the question is, and we've seen a few brands get involved in sponsoring brands, teams. Who and would you want to sponsor your team if you could? Who's your dream sponsor? It's putting you on the spot here as well because we didn't pre-discuss this. But if you had your own team, who would you be? Which team would you be?
Yeah.
And who would be your sponsor?
Does it have to be an existing team?
No.
Can change the sponsor.
You could. It has to be an existing team. You can change the sponsor.
Fine. Okay. Oh, this is awful. Well, if I own an F1 team, I'm a billionaire.
Yes.
Which means I can have whatever I want already. So accessibility is not the issue here. It's more about what more do I want? What more can I tap? And what's cool, maybe? Mm-hmm.
Bearing in mind that your mechanics team will likely be wearing the watch as well, and
okay, so I can't
it's really going to be you're not nabbing them all and then putting them up at Philips for sale.
I'll have 47,000 Simon Brettes, please. What would I do? It's a really hard question.
And I tell you where the inspiration came from. Moser this week launched the sort of digital streamliner, super interesting. I immediately quite liked it.
Yeah.
Some people didn't, but I quite liked it.
Controversial release. I think you're going to need to go first. You've already stumped me.
And by the way, I'm not a huge F1 fan. I'm not one to watch. I will watch, but I'll watch the first few laps and that'll be me done. Yeah. I definitely watch Drive Survive because it's so great to be broad. I'm going to go McLaren, and I'm not just a glory hunter.
Sorry.
I'm not
sorry.
I'm not. Yeah, sorry, Basin. Sorry. I'm not a glory hunter, but I've always liked McLaren as a brand. I've always liked the visuals of the supercar.
Elegant. The McLaren.
Apparently, they're terrible reliability-wise. I've been told never, ever, ever touch one on the road because they're just not reliable. But I like the colours. Orange is my favourite colour.
Okay, fine.
So I'm going McLaren, and they've got a great history.
Unbelievable.
So I'm going history, and I like Lando Norris as a bloke as well.
Okay, fine.
Fun fact, I played behind him. I played at Badgemore Golf Club in Henley months ago, and the bugger was playing in front of me. Tiny man, nothing of him. Beautiful swing on him, great drive, great golfer. We didn't talk. Didn't ask for a photo, didn't want to interact. I just wanted him to have a good day.
You really just thought about it.
Did he come in a McLaren? I didn't see. And was he wearing a Richard Mille? I'm not sure.
Surely.
But I'm going McLaren, and watch-wise, this might be an anticlimax, but I actually like the Richard Mille collaboration with them.
Yeah,
in the sense, I like the model that he wears.
Yeah.
I like that ultra thin.
Yeah.
And I quite like the vibe with McLaren.
This is a real cop-out here, Justin.
It is.
What you've done is say, I changed nothing. It's fine. That's fine. That is still
no. Do you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna go for something the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm gonna go McLaren.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go Laurent Ferrier.
Oh, okay.
Now Laurent Ferrier's got heritage in driving. He was in Le Mans. if I'm not wrong, it was the 1969 Le Mans.
79. I think.
79, sorry, 79. And I'm gonna go along for it because I would like to just see the team dial it up a bit, and the Grand Sport Tourbillon would be the watch that the majority of them would be wearing with the pink dial, the salmon dial.
All right.
And it's got gentleman racer about it.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Okay. It's classy. It's McLaren.
Yeah.
Plus even more class.
Yes. So
makes sense.
currently we've got McLaren and new money. I'm going McLaren and old money.
Yeah.
That's my new
Love
setup.
that.
So
I
there
think
we go.
that's a complete upgrade.
Cool.
I'm here for it.
Where are you, Em?
I would. See, I really like Toto Wolff, and I love the Mercedes vibe. Again, what a man, just cool.
Pure alpha.
But
Pure alpha.
as a
No choice about it.
literally just he's the man. That's it.
Alpha.
Him and his wife Susie.
Alpha.
They're running the show. But
Alpha.
but you like him. But I'm actually going to go with Red Bull
Okay.
because I like that they came out of nowhere. I like that they walked into a sport that had loads of rules, and they said, this. We're going to put parties on in the garage. We're going to just do what we want. And they're dominating. And I think that their story for me as like a startup vibe, as a, you can really do anything if you try hard enough. I always feel like success is on the other side of not quitting. That's what they sort of emphasise to me in terms of history. And I just quite like that. But I would actually put them all in a Romain Gaultier C, every single person.
Oh, wow. That would be cool. Yeah.
Rubber.
Coloured crown.
Exactly. And just
What's
play
their
around
colour?
with it.
Blue. Like it's a blue, isn't it?
Blue and a red, yeah.
Blue and red, yeah.
Not the greatest colour combination, but we could work with that. But that's what I go. I go really, really.
And they're obviously
high-end.
with tag right now.
Exactly, but it's like Romain Gaultier. You don't know what it is. It's
Super
kind
cool.
of hard to know.
Super cool. Very functional.
Could be quite fun.
Drilling the getting the wheels
if you
back
said to
on.
me, Emily, like I'm not even sure I'd put petrol in my car wearing one. But yeah, let's do some drilling. Why not?
Bloody brilliant. Fantastic.
IWC and Mercedes though.
It's a great partnership. It's a great partnership, and we're
Can't
both
fault
very
that.
biased because we both love IWC, and we.
For sure. But on
The only thing I would
glove,
say
the
about
big
Red Bull,
pilot-
sorry, I just was thinking, I detest the bloke.
Christian Horner.
Christian Horner. I really don't like him. I think
It's
he's a
not
rat. I think he's a bit of a rat. And it's a big call. It's a big call. Christian, if you're watching, forgive me. What's his wife called? Bubble.
Oh yeah.
Spice Girls.
Ginger Spice.
Ginger Spice. No, it wasn't ginger. It's not ginger. No. It's
Sporty?
it is sport. Sorry. No. It's ginger.
ginger.
It's ginger.
Ginger Spice. Jerry Halliwell. It's
Jerry,
raining men.
if you're watching, forgive us. There's something unlikable about him. In the way that I find there's something quite likable in Toto. Super intense bloke. Wouldn't want to spend a huge amount of time with him, but just not likable Horner. I just don't like him. Anyway,
That's what I mean. Maybe.
Should we finish on a positive? Who is to like? Who's to really like?
It has. Okay, we've done Toto, but he's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
He is. He's the dog.
man.
He's the man.
Finish on Toto. And the width on that man. Good athlete. Good athlete.
Just like every time him and his wife post on Instagram, they're on the French Riviera.
Yeah.
They're just cool.
And the kid comes out and sits in the middle of that supercar, that Mercedes thing, and apparently has the same breakfast every morning, wherever he is in the world at the same time every day.
That
Irrelevant of
doesn't surprise
timescale,
me.
because that's
Discipline.
That's what he's like. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your roundup. Thank you very, very much for joining us. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thanks, Em.
I never know where you're going to go ever. Yeah, truly.
Brilliant.
Oh.